Welcome back, folks. With me, Phil Too Real. You're watching part 30 of the Final Fantasy VIII Let's Play. So we just beat I was about to say Ultimate Weapon. This is not Final Fantasy VII. We just beat Ultima Weapon. We got 400 Ultimas for 4 of my characters. We were able to draw the Ultimate Guardian Force Eden, which I'll talk about Eden here in a little bit. Right here, I'm going to start to junction some of my spells around just to show off Ultima. So if you equip Ultima to Zell, his strength's going to get to the max, 255 really easily. You can also equip Ultima to your Elemental Defense Junction, and you can see there all of his elemental attacks or elemental defenses will go up to where he can absorb all of it. So that's very nice. It's up to you how you want to do that. Generally, I will equip it to whatever stat I want to make the most of. So I like to equip Ultima to my elemental defenses because I want to not worry about any sort of magic coming my way and hitting me and doing damage. Now I'll heal when they do that. So it neutralizes elemental attacks very nicely. Now Eden is the most powerful Guardian Force in terms of attack because his attack can break the damage limit, which means that he can do more than 9,999, and it's not elemental, which is very nice. He can't be absorbed. Now he comes equipped from the get-go with Speed Junction, Evade Junction, Hit Junction. You can learn the nice nifty ability Devour, which I won't use in this playthrough, but it's an ability to where you'll eat an enemy, no joke about that, and it'll be censored, which is kind of funny. But if you eat the right kind of enemies, generally the super strong enemies, your characters will gain a stat point or HP, and you'll start to max out your stats without any sort of level ups or anything, which is very nice. I don't like to do it that way because it takes forever, and once you get to a certain point, you don't really need to up your stats anymore. Your junction spells will take care of that for you. But of course, you can do that if you want. I'm not going to waste any time on that. If you want to learn how that ability works, you can just look it up on, Google. But anyways, the other nifty ability he can learn is expend 3 by 1, which means if you have triple on a character, you cast spells, 3 spells. Instead of using 3 separate spells, you'll only use 1, which is very nice. When you want to triple cast aura, instead of using 3 auras, you use 1. Very nice to do that. The other kind of okay ability is the Guardian Force ability, Medicine Refine, which, it's okay. Now we're going to do my least favorite side quest in here, the Lake Obel, or Obel Lake side quest. I'm going to go to Edea's house, because what happened is I forgot to do this side quest as I was progressing the plot. So I'm going to jump cut right here, and this jump cut is actually going to be after all the plot and everything. I've already gone into Lunatic Pandora with the party, so this is way set in the future, but I wanted to go ahead and show Lake Obel here, Obel Lake here. So if you go to Obel Lake right here and you examine it, you're going to be given a choice of throwing a rock or humming. If you hum, a black shadow will come up to the surface, and you can hum again to try to talk to it. And this is how you do a good majority of the side quests. You'll need to talk to it, and he'll want to know where his friend Mr. Monkey is. Now, Mr. Monkey likes to hide up in forests, and you have to find him. Now, what makes this quest very tedious, very difficult, and not worth it, in my opinion, is you're going to explore the world with Squall, which is normal, but you're exploring the world map, which, as you can see here, there's not very many details outside of forests, roads, railroads, and Goboldia, and then we'll have to go to the Century Continent, the Trivia Continent, and the Esthar Continent. We'll be going to all the continents here. And we're expected to examine stuff that is not going to be very visible on the world map for hints. And then we have to know certain places on the world map by name. Without a guide, this side quest kind of sucks, as the monkey is saying here. All you gotta do is find Mr. Monkey here in this forest and doll it, and then just report back to the Black Shadow, and you're done with the first part. The second part of the side quest is going to have you look for stones. I think it's 4 stones that have letters carved into them, and that stone is going to read something like, uh, I want to say it read. I'm looking at the thing. It reads, Morid Plains has treasure. There's also another um, clue that Mr. The Shadow gives, that you need to take time off at Mend Island, or treasure at Mend Island. Once you find those two treasures and those two areas, you'll get a trophy. The item that you get on Mend Island is a Luck Junction scroll, I believe, which is a kind of rare item. I don't think there's any way for you to get it, even with refinement, I think. The other item you get at the Morid Plains is a triple stars, which teaches the expand 3x1 ability, which is good, but it's not worth doing all this in my opinion. So here we relayed the whereabouts of Mr. Monkey to the Black Shadow, and then he'll start us on the second part of the side quest, which will go and get stones around the world map. So we'll go and get the first stone that's east of Trivia. It's going to be this island right here. And so you're going to land and you're just going to button mash until you find it, which is going to be somewhere on the far eastern side. And of course, I'll show you where that's at. So you find a piece of rock by your foot. It's man-made, has some letters on it. So you find those letters. It's 6 letters. The letters by themselves mean absolutely nothing. You need all 4 stones to read the message. So now we got that stone. Let's go back to the Black Shadow, and then we will go and get another stone, and we're gonna rinse and repeat. So hum, and then talk to the shadow. Just keep humming, and then if you want to figure out what your stones say, you can always go back to Obel Lake, and then just keep humming, and then keep talking to him. Now, if you skip the rock a few times, I want to say more than a few times. I think it has to be 5 times or so. You can go back to Mr. Monkey here and talk to him, and then you throw rocks at him. Throw a rock, not sing at him, Phil. Throw a rock. We gotta find him first. Throw a rock. He's like, ah, darn it, you're just a big loser. I'll be able to skip the rock as many times as I want. So there, haha, loser, dork, idiot. Your mom wears combat boots. The monkey told you off and disappeared in the forest. And Squall died from embarrassment. I bet your future Phil is going to put the game over theme right there. But yeah, so we'll go and compete with Mr. Monkey. So we're going to throw rocks into Lake Obel. Take a break at the railroad bridge. If you do that, you'll find a break spell draw point. You don't have to do that, but there's nothing really worth doing that. So we're going to throw rocks. We want to skip it many times, which we just did right there. Skip it many times. And then we'll go and we'll talk to Mr. Monkey again. He'll throw a rock at us. That rock will have lettering. So we need to go and show him what's up, and that Squall's mother does not wear combat boots. So land anywhere you want, preferably where you can get to that forest really easily. Now, something that I've always wondered, like, what's Garden doing right now? Is Garden just sitting there at FH being like with their, I don't know, they're just sitting there just chilling. But anyways, you throw a rock to Mr. Monkey, he'll throw another rock at you that has letterings on it. We have 2 of the 4 stones. One of them is going to be at Balam. The other one is going to be overlooking a cliff near Delling City and Timber. So now we need to go to Balam. Balam is going to be where the next stone is. So we're going to go to Balam and we'll find a beach. And from the beach, we're just going to button mash along the coast of that beach. And then we'll try to find a 3rd stone. And this is the easy part right here. This is by far the easy part. So go along the beach of Balam and just button mash X. And eventually you'll find a stone that has lettering on it that we were finding with Mr. Monkey and that island on Timber. But absolutely, if after this Let's Play, I'll probably never, ever, ever do this side quest ever again because it's just a huge waste of time. I hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. Okay, we found a third stone. So, it looks very similar to what Squall found before. One thing I will recommend doing is having encounter none. That way you don't have to worry about fighting any sort of enemies at all. So now let's go back to the Black Shadow at Obel Lake. And we will find the location of the fourth stone. Try humming. Mysterious Writing Stone. So you can always talk to the Black Shadow to get those stones to show up. Of course, they don't do anything without the last stone. So take some time off at Elbeek Peninsula. You do that if you want. There's really no point. Elbeek Peninsula, I want to say, I don't know why. I don't know what's at Elbeek Peninsula. No, there is an important thing. Elbeek Peninsula, there is a ruin or a stone that gives you the hint to go to Mend Island for our treasure. So that actually is it's not unimportant. It's important. That's what I'm trying to say. The last hint that we get from Mr. Black Shadow is to examine this waterfall above. Of course, this is why we need Odin, but this is also why we need the Ragnarok, because you have no way of accessing that top of that mountain without the Ragnarok. So Odin's going to show these bluebirds what's up, and then we will examine the nest, and we just killed those eggs as parents. I'm sure, very sad, but necessary to get the trophy. Not the trophy, the eggs. I mean, there is a trophy that's going to be with this side quest, but that's by far not why I'm doing this. So we found 4 stones. This must be them all. If you put them vertically and you read them from top right down, and then next column over, read it down, it will read the phrase, the Morid Plains, where is it? The Morid Plains has treasure. That's what it says. Elbeek Peninsula, like he's saying, like right there, if you read it from top right down, and then you read it in reverse order, but instead of reading it left to right and you go down to the next line, you read it right to left, but you go from top right down, next column down, next column down, until you get to the last column right, and you'll see Mildred Plains has treasure. So there's the decipher for that. That's the decipher for it, and I wonder what that means. Well, we're gonna go see what that is, and that right there, that part just irritates me, because believe it or not, this part was a lot longer. Hey, there's the garden. It's a lot longer than what it is. It says a minute or an hour and 10 minutes, but this part was a lot longer because I forgot what face we had to talk to in order to do this side quest. Now, I think right here, I want to find the escape pod that Eleni, Quistis, Piet were in. It's not on the world map. You have to walk over that very, very small spot on the world map, and then you'll be able to go and find Piet and all them. Not here. Or maybe I'm looking for Mend Island. No, it's the Abaddon Plains. If you want to know where you are exactly on the world map, go to your menu and look at the bottom. I ran to Lunatic Pandora right there. And you probably think Lunatic Pandora, Phil, that was Tier's Point. The visual mods, unfortunately, does not show Lunatic Pandora for whatever reason. So even though Lunatic Pandora is there, you will not see it on my screen, but it is there, rest assured. I think it's right here. This is where... No, not there. But this is Mend Island right here. So if you... Squall, you're supposed to go there and get the treasure, you dumb. Or is it right here? Yeah, it's right here. This is where we need to go. So it's a very small spot on this peninsula. Shucks, I lost my job. Shucks, I lost my job. What should we do from now on? They don't do anything, but if you don't have Alexander's card, you can challenge Piet there, and then you can win Alexander there. It might be a little bit easier if he plays with Esthar rules versus Lunar Base, but I don't have to worry about that. We got Alexander's card already. And right there, I'm just jump cutting because I don't want to deal with showing you Lunatic Pandora ahead of time. Right now, I'm trying to find the planes that have the faces on it. I think this is the area. Oh, jeez, I hate this part so much. So there'll be a plane right here where there'll be some faces on the ground when you examine. There'll be a red face, a blue face, a black face, and a white, black, red, and blue. Now, the red face is the one you want to pay attention to and do the opposite of. You do the opposite of what the red face tells you, you'll find the 3 stars. I'm going to go ahead and jump cut because, believe it or not, this part took me forever because I forgot which face I had to listen to and do the opposite of. Because I thought it was the black face at first, but it's not the black face, it's the red face. So right here, if you just examine the ground, you'll find it, but it's only in a specific small spot. So make sure you follow the red face's directions and do the opposite of it. Now, eventually, when you get to a spot where the red face says the treasure is not here, you keep examining it, you'll find the treasure. So right here, I'm just showing you, hey, there's different faces here. The red face says the treasure's to the east, which means you would have to go to the west. So you would have to change Squall's direction to the west and then go. The way I like to do that is to change the camera to make the view go west, and then just keep button mashing X until you find a red face. So red face says the treasure's to the west. I'm going to go east, and then just keep button mashing the X or the A button for an Xbox controller. When I say X, I'm talking about PlayStation, A for Xbox. So the red face says it's to the south. We're going to go north. And you just keep doing this, and then eventually you will find the treasure. Of course, I went too far north because the red face says now it's to the east, so which means we got to go west. So I changed Squall's camera to the, or I guess I just don't do that. But yeah, this is, if you don't know what face to look for, it's just a pain in the ass. There's really no other way to explain that. So sorry, Future Phil. I'm going to allow myself to cuss on that part, because this part's just some bull right here. So red face says the treasure's to the south, so we want to go north. Red face says you got to go to east, so you got to go west. And this is what makes it very complicated. Red face says go to east. But yeah, but otherwise it's super duper confusing. I want to say at this point, I don't. I'm trying to figure out, like, I think, is this where I'm still trying to figure out which face it is? I think at this point I know what face it is. White faces go that way. Red faces go south, which means I have to go north. Okay. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to jump cut, maybe. Yep, we jump cut it right here. So this is where I finally figured out, oh, it's the red faces, not the black faces or the white faces. But yeah, the red faces are the ones you want to do the opposite of. So they say the treasure's to the east, turn the compass on the world map to go west, and then just go west. Now, of course, sometimes the faces will tell you another direction, but if you just generally follow the red faces and then just do the opposite, you will get to the treasure eventually. So he says east, I want to turn the compass west, or the camera west, and then just keep going straight and keep pushing the A button or X button on the PlayStation controller. And then whenever the face says the treasure's not here, the red face, you keep examining it, and then you will find your 3 stars as the prize, which is totally not worth it, but it is a reward. So now we're gonna go to Mend Island, I believe, and Mend Island is where this junction the Luck Junction scroll is at. Which, if you care about any sort of trophies, that is the other treasure you have to find in order to get the trophy. Now, out of the two, I think the only one that's really any kind of use is the Junction scroll, because like I said, the 3 stars, I mean, really, 2 of the Guardian Forces, I believe, get that ability naturally. And I mean, if you really want to get it, you can really get it from there. But it's not worth it, in my opinion. Now, the other thing I want to do in this part is I'm going to attempt to find the UFOs. This part is going to be mainly a lot of side quests, just finishing up. So right now I'm trying to find some of the areas where the UFO is, because there's one here in the Trivia region. It's actually I want to say it's a long beach, I want to say, if I remember right. So we're going to get the UFO quest, and then we're also going to finish the Chocobo quest. And I want to say there's one more quest that I'm going to take care of. I'm trying to think. I want to say we also visit the islands of... I think we visit the island closest to heaven in this part, which I'll talk about that when we get to there. But this part, a lot of side quests, and you'll get intimately familiar with a lot of the a lot of the areas. So Eldbeak Peninsula, I believe this is where you find a clue. I believe. Oh, here I'm button mashing. Yeah. So there says the treasure, or take some time off at Mend Island. So if you eliminate the words time and off, that clue will say treasure at Mend Island. So if you get that clue, well then, and you see right there, time and off, take it off, and you see the treasure is at Mend Island. So we're going to go to Mend Island, which I actually visited earlier in this part. I don't think you can actually get the Junction scroll unless you find that clue right there. So now we're going to go back to the Ragnarok, and then we're going to go to Mend Island and then go get that Junction scroll. One thing I will say about the side quest, you do hear a lot of the Ragnarok theme, which I absolutely do love. Here's Mend Island, I believe, right? Right? Yes. And it should be in the middle of the island, if memory serves. And again, having Encounter None or turn on the Remaster's Encounter None feature is a godsend with this quest. Otherwise, you're going to be encountering enemies all over the place. So there, we got the Junction scroll, and I got a trophy for getting it. So amazing, pretty amazing. Now we're going to go back to Edea's house, and Edea's house is going to... actually, no, we're not going to do Edea's house. So we're gonna do the Chocobo side quest. So here, I think I did this one. Yeah, I did this one, so I'm not going to actually go back and do that one. But we need to get the other ones. I think I do 3 more. I want to say there's 2 in the northern regions. There's 1 here in the central continent, right behind this forest. And then the prize for doing all these Chocobo Forests and finding all the Chocobos here, it's a very, very minuscule reward. You get a Chocobo card. But, you know, if you care about that sort of thing, you know, you can do that. I actually like doing this because I actually do like this minigame quite a lot. This one is going to be very tricky because there's only one spot that you can find the Chocobo at. Very tiny. It's so incredibly tiny. So it's like almost like I want to say, if this was like a pixel game, I mean, technically, maybe it might, but there's models here, that it would be like 1 pixel. And I'm going to jump cut to where I find it. So you'll see here. So right here is where that, well, soon as Squall finds puts his right toe in the right spot, right there. That spot right there. So go ahead and detect, or to catch, get your Chocobo, talk to the Chocobo, and then the Chocobo will summon its mother, and then we get it. Now, we need to find the stones, that way it counts, but the Chocobo is actually going to be on top of the spot. So you need to keep on talking to him. On the third time, you can challenge him to a card game, but then it'll give you an option, be like, forget it, just move. Select forget it, just move, and then he'll move, but not enough, and Squall say, sorry, but just a little bit more. So he'll move, and then they go ahead and use catch, and then find the spot right where the Chocobo was, and the Chocobo will give us our reward, and then now we will be able to use Chocobos out of this forest. Now, this forest in particular is very important if you want the Ragnarok back in Disc 4. So it's kind of good in your interest if you want the Ragnarok in Disc 4 to complete this forest. But you don't need to. You can just ask the Chocobo to get you a Chocobo if you wish. So we're done with this one. And I would say this is the only Chocobo forest that really even matters. But it's going to go back to its home. And then we are going to go into take on the next Chocobo forest, which are going to be in the northern regions, I believe. Which is interesting because there's no Chocobo forest on Goboldia continent. They're all on the Centra continent and the Trivia continent. So the southernmost continents and the northernmost continents. There's nothing on Esthar continent or the Goboldia continent, which is kind of interesting. So this one, I believe this one I have not done. Yeah. So this is another one. This one's another basic one. So we'll go ahead and send away our boy Zell and Renoa. Or was it Zell and Quistis? I don't think I switched Quistis yet. So here, I think this one requires you to bring 3 down. And then, I want to say, you talk to, or you try to find a spot on the left, and then you'll send 2 of them back home, and then you'll have the single one. Let's see what pass fill does here, shall we? So there's 2, and then we need to catch 1 more. So we'll catch here, that'll be a 3rd. And then we'll do 1 more spot. 1 more spot. Right there. You'll send 2. And then now we can talk to this Chocobo. This Chocobo will summon its mother. And then the item will be on the far left. Don't talk to Chocobo yet, Phil. Get the Chocobo to find the stones. And this one will get a flare stone. So very simple. Nothing too crazy. Excellent. Flare stone. So now we're done here. I don't know why I'm talking to the Chocobo. We already got the stone, so we can go ahead and leave. No need to go there. So we'll use the Ragnarok, and I believe the other forest that we're going to do is the Roman forest, which is right next to Trivia Garden. It's like north of Trivia Garden, I believe. On the other side of that mountain of Trivia Garden. Actually, we'll be going to Trivia Garden here in a little bit. Because believe it or not, when we finished our little story with Selphie at Trivia Garden, I forgot to get Selphie's card there from Selphie's friend. But we'll get that in a minute. So this one, we're going to need to... We can solve this in 3-4 steps. I'm cheating right now. I'm looking at my guide right now. So you just follow the directions that I'm doing here, and then you'll get this Chocobo Forest done. It's not too difficult. So here, we're going to go ahead and catch right here. This will send this Chocobo up, and this will send the other one back up, and that will reset. So then now we're going to go up here in the middle for this spot. Number 5 will bring down 1 Chocobo, 2 Chocobo, 3 Chocobo, and then we're going to go all the way to the front. There's a spot right here that we can use, so just be careful and do not leave it. It's at the edge of the entrance. So this should bring this Chocobo out here. Now we're going to go to the middle. I believe that's what... Well, no, this one right here, which will send all the Chocobos up here in the front out. So that one will go, the middle one will go, the far right one will go, and then the one all the way in the front will not go. So there's your single one. This Chocobo will summon in the mother will leave, and then the stones will be on the topmost section, and we will get a shell stone and a holy stone. And I believe this should be the last Chocobo Forest, which I think there's like 7 of them. Let me just check my notes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, 7 Chocobo Forests, and we got them all. No, 6. 1, 2, yeah, 6 Chocobo Forests. So now I'm going to show off a spot in the map that probably a lot of people don't know about, because I mean, you will only know about this spot if you just explore the map. So that giant crater is actually where Lunatic Pandora was dug up, and then there's that little trail. This trail is actually where, or I guess where Lunatic Pandora was built. That shell around it, because this is actually where Laguna actually was. If you look at this area, that is actually where Laguna filmed the that movie that the Ruby Dragon crashed. So very interesting this spot is here, and that's really all. There's nothing else here that to do. It's just to go from one end of the map to the other, and I like to think this is how he got to Esthar, because this actually exits right where Esthar is, the continent. So kind of interesting that this is here. The developers left this in here, because they didn't leave the Lunatic Pandora excavation site, but they sure as hell left this trail here. And it would have been nice if there was like a little side quest here. Maybe, I don't know. I really don't ever see a scenario where Cypher would have joined the party. But it would have been very interesting to see Cypher notice that this spot was, hey, this is that movie that, you know, gave me my romantic dream of being a sorceress knight. It would have been interesting, but I don't see Cypher in a remake or anything joining the party or whatever, unless they absolutely change the story, which story of Final Fantasy, as far as I'm concerned, is perfect. It has its flaws, of course. Every story has its flaws, but this one, to me, it's the perfect Final Fantasy for me. I'm just a little bit biased towards it. Now, that forest dome is a Chocobo Forest, but we have no way of being able to land the Ragnarok in this little area unless it's on the cliffside, and the cliffside is not going to help us. Except there is one area here on the cliffside where we will need to visit, but we'll deal with that later, because this is actually an area where the UFO goes. We're going to need to enter the continent, this area, through that beach. You probably think, well, Phil, Balam Garden's not really going to help us. No, Balam Garden's absolutely not going to help us, because Balam Garden's too chunky. It's not going to fit in the ravines in that continent. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a Chocobo. So this is the other forest that is probably has any use in the game, but this forest only has use to complete the Chocobo side quest. So talk to the Chocobo here, and we're going to write it out. Now, Chocobos can go into the water on the world of Final Fantasy VIII, but it can only go into shallow waters. And by shallow waters, I mean that light blue, not deep blue water like the ocean. So we're going to go on the beach. You notice that the water is a little bit more lighter blue. So follow it around, and then we will go into the forest here. And you have well, you can dismount, I believe, but you don't really want to dismount. Also, I think this area is also where you can find more burrows as a common occurrence. So that would be very useful to get Quistis' weapon. So here, if you have all 6 of the Chocobos, well, technically 6, but there's a 7th here. But if you find them all, then you'll get a little Chocobo dance here. And the Chocobos will dance to the waltz that Squall and Renoa danced to at the very beginning of the game. So very, very interesting and kind of cool. I like it. The reward will be a Chocobo card. It's a Chocobo card or a Chocobo card. I think it's a Chocobo card now I'm thinking about it, because the Chocobo is the one who gives it to you. So after you witness the awesome dancing event, they will leave, the Chocobo will remain, and you can examine the Chocobo for a card. And that's it for the side quest. It's a very, very simple side quest. It's nothing like breeding Chocobos in Final Fantasy VII to get Knights of the Round. And as the time of this recording, they just announced well, not announced, but it's already been announced that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will be released on PC, and I'm actually very excited for that. Final Fantasy VII may not be my favorite Final Fantasy, but I do enjoy it. If you do talk to the Chocobo, it will give you a Gesho Green, air quotes, but it will give you, it will take 600 of your gil, so you're buying one Gesho Green from it. Now, this will be the last time we will be able to talk to the Chocobo Boy, because after this, the Chocobo Boy will no longer play any parts of the Chocobo side quest, because we're done with it. See you around somewhere, someday. No, I still haven't seen you ever since this moment, unless I replay the game. So, talk to the Chocobo, and we can leave. Or you can just stay here and live with the Chocobos forever and ever. But let's go ahead and look at the Chocobo card. It'll be a level 8. The high numbers are the vertical numbers, and then the side numbers are just 4. So it's very weak horizontally, but it is very strong vertically. So let's go ahead and talk to the bird, and then we will leave. So just turn the camera this way and just go straight, and then go left, follow the cliff side, and then go back around to this way, and you'll be back out to the beach that led you here. Actually, go left, quick left, and then you get to the beach, and just follow it right back to the beach that led us here. Now, I love this truck riding the Chocobo. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So now we'll get back on the Ragnarok. Gotta get back to the Ragnarok first. If you ever forget what the Ragnarok is, if you bring the world map, if you blow up the world map to where it's like the huge version, the Ragnarok will be the red dot. So right there. So we need to go up north. And like I said, that giant scar in the ground, that's basically where they were basically building Lunatic Pandora on in the the Trivia region. Almost there. I leveled up to 13, but I lost it right away. Oh well. I said money's not a very big thing in Final Fantasy VIII. Where is the Ragnarok? It's a shame that we don't get airships like the Ragnarok. I think the closest one that gets close to what looking like the Ragnarok are the airships in Final Fantasy X, the Celsius and the Fahrenheit. But the Ragnarok is always going to it's always going to have a special place in my heart, because it's a spaceship, not an airship. Which I guess if we're going to compare, I guess the Lunar Well from Final Fantasy IV is the first spaceship, of course. I don't think they go into space in 2 and 3. I think they just go into is it the Sky World? I've never played 3 in my entire life, so I don't know very much about it. I just know, is it the Darkness Cloud? The Darkness Cloud or something like that. Final Fantasy 3 is the final boss. But anyways, we're going to go to Edea's house, and then we're going to progress plot. A long-awaited plot. And we're going to see the flower field that was in the opening FMV in Final Fantasy VIII here. So that's very interesting. So here, we're going to go this way. And we can talk to Edea, and then Renault and Edea will have a little bit of a conversation here. So Renault will ease Edea's mind, saying that, hey, it couldn't have been avoided, but she asked Edea to advise her as a more experienced sorceress. And Edea, of course, says thank you, and you know she appreciates that. So very nice. I like that. I like that little touch right there. Now, after this plot that happens here in Edea's house, if you come back, she will make a mention that she should probably have a knight that can protect Renoa from herself, the world, and her powers. And like Cid is Edea's knight. Even though Cid is not a fighter, Cid basically is a unconditional loving husband, which is what a sorceress needs, so that she doesn't go crazy and go destroy the world like Ultimecia or Adel. And you can all guess who Renoa's knight is. I'm not even going to say it. But this is the field of flowers that was in the opening FMV, and Zell's being an awkward third wheel. He's like, sorry about this. I'm sure you want to be alone with her. So Squall, I never thought you were the romantic type. What about you, Zell? That girl in the library? What? I don't know what you're talking about, Willis. All the girls in the library know. What? I'm out of here. Bye-bye. I'm not dealing with this. And Angelo's going to give them their peace and quiet, too. So Renault's like, what about me? And Squall's going to encourage her that she can be a good sorceress. Renault is going to say she can't guarantee that ultimately she can't possess her again. And what will she end up doing? Will she end up fighting somebody? Will she end up being an enemy of the world like Edea? But Squall is going to say to himself, even if he becomes the world's enemy, he'll be her knight. So I guess I said it anyways. So Squall will silently agree to be her knight, and Renault will say, well, if it comes to that, everyone will probably come after her and attack her and kill her, but it'll be alright as long as it's Squall. And of course, Squall doesn't like that very much. He's like, that's enough. He would never do anything like that. And the sorceress that he's after is Ultimecia, not Renault. And of course, Ultimecia is outside of Squall's reach because she's from the future, not the present where Squall's in. And the future, I like to think, is very, 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 very far in the future. And Renault makes the suggestion maybe she should hang out in Esthar at the Sorceress Memorial, just in case she gets taken over. And Squall doesn't like that very much. And here they make a promise. And Renault's like, you don't remember what I said? Oh, just forget it. And so he'll say something along the lines of, I forgot because of the Guardian Force. And Renault's like, that's just an excuse. And this story that Renault's going to say is going to come into play in the ending. She's going to be in a panic. She wants to find Squall. She doesn't know where to find him. So she ends up running all around creation. And she'll scream, Squall, where are you? And then, of course, she woke up and she was crying. Now, Squall will say it was just a dream. It doesn't mean anything. However, he says this instead. How about we make a promise? I'll be here. All you got to do is, I think he'll say, all you got to do is call my name or something like that, and he'll be here. The reason you couldn't find me is because we haven't promised yet. So I'll be waiting for you. If you come here, you'll find me. I promise. So that's what Open FMV was talking about. If you want to find me, come here. You'll find me. Now, Zell's going to come back and interrupt this moment, saying that Esthar contacted the Ragnarok and say they want to hire Seed. Specifically, the president and his aide, the aide being Kiros. And Squall's like, Kiros is the Esthar presidential area. So, I'm sure that's just a quinky dink. That's not the Kiros that we all know and love from Laguna's time in history. And Edea right here is going to say that Squall, you're always looking for Eleni with tears in his eyes, but he's grown up now. Now, Edea is going to stop Squall from leaving for a moment, and she's going to tell him, I don't know why I keep calling Squall her. He's going to tell Squall that it was here 13 years ago where she inherited a sorceress' powers that was on the verge of dying, but she already had sorceress powers when she was a young girl at 13. So she got double sorceress powers. Now, what's interesting is we're going to see this happen in the ending. We're going to see well, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but we will see Edea when she's inherits her second set of sorceress powers here. And it's very interesting. And so she tells Squall, the fight's the end, even though it may be tragedy to others. Do not ever stop fighting. So Edea gives her parting words as the matron to Squall, and Squall, of course, takes it to heart. Now, we have one more thing we need to do before we head to Esthar, and we are going to find the UFOs in the world of Final Fantasy VIII. Now, the UFOs are kind of interesting because it's more interesting in the remaster than they are in the original one, and let me explain. Right there, all I did is I went to go to get more ultimate spells. In the world of Final Fantasy, there's a series of areas that you can just explore that will have a chance to trigger a UFO. Now, the UFO will trigger even if you have the encounter none ability equipped, which is very nice because it eliminates the randomness of the encounters and it forces the UFO meeting to the forefront. But before we do that, I'm going to go to the Trivia Garden and I'm going to get Selphie's card from Selphie's friend because, you know, I want to collect all the cards, all the rare cards anyways. So, examine the green mesh, you'll climb up and then you can go ahead and go all the way to the very middle courtyard, and then talk to Sophie's friend there. It's sitting in the middle. If you try to donate from Tribute Garden, they won't accept it for whatever reason because you're not a student there. So you want to take money from people who barely have anything, but you won't take money from people who just are not from Tribute Garden. I guess that makes total sense, maybe. I don't know. Alright, well, I don't want to donate to you. Balam Garden forever. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go and save because I don't know what set of rules are going to play here. Actually, the lunar base rules are going to come into play here, and those rules suck. But fortunately, looking at the timeline, I get this in one go, so that's awesome. So let's go ahead and get that done. So we're going to be playing with every single rule in the book. Not very fun, but it is what it is. Selfie's card is very strong on the upper number and the right number. We're not going to have too much trouble with this. I think we will go into sudden... No, we won't go into sudden death. But be very, very careful with the plus roll because the AI will take advantage of that plus roll very quickly. So we win. So we get Selfie's card. Selfie's card, I believe, will refine into 3 elemental guards. Let me just double check that really quick. Let's see here. Selfie's card will card mount to 3 elemental guards, which means that if you give that elemental guard to a guardian force, it will learn the elemental defense ×4 ability, which is a very, very nice ability. By now, all my characters have a ×4 elemental defense, so very nice. But if you got here a disc 2, you can card mount Selfie's card, and then you will be able to get that item a lot sooner and use it a lot sooner. Now, the second UFO sighting is actually going to be here next to Timber. The first one is actually by Wind Hill when it was abducting a cow, stereotypically. Go here, just land, it can go to the beach. Encounter none is equipped, so I don't have to worry about just normal random encounters. So the UFO will take a I forget what the name of that statue is on Easter Island, but it will go away with one of those Easter Island statue heads. Now the next one, which is the third one, is going to be in the desert where the cactars are. So it'll be in the southern regions, so just make sure you have encountered none, or maybe you might have encountered it while you were running around killing cactars in the desert, but it's down here in the desert. So just run around, you'll get a third sighting of the UFO. This one will be a pyramid. That must be a very strong tractor beam. So it will take a pyramid. And we have one more encounter, and this encounter is probably the hardest to find because it's in the northern regions, and really I had a hard time finding it. So I cut out a lot of the backtracking. I think it's on the beach close to where we, very close to where we found the, actually no, it's on an island. I forget. It's on an island off this beach right there on the right. So right here, land on it. This is where the last UFO sighting is. I got it right away as I got off. Now, what makes this a very good side quest is it will allow you to abuse the hell out of Angelo Search. Now, Phil, why do I care about Angelo Search? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. Angelo Search is a lot better in the remaster than it is in the original version. The reason why I say it's better is you have a chance of getting a item that allows you to summon Mog, and it allows you to summon the Moomba. I think the Moomba item is Friendship, and then the item that allows you to summon Mog is the Moogle Amulet, I think. Now, this right here is that's not it. The next island we're going to go to is the island closest to Heaven. There's a lot of draw points here I want to talk about really quick, and I'll go back to those items I was talking about. The thing about these islands is there's a lot of hard enemies here. But on the flip side, there's a lot of good draw points that are hidden here. Quite a few, actually. Now, the draw points that are here are Quake, Meteor, Flare, Holy, Aura, Ultima, Full Life, Triple, Tornado on this island. There's also an island closest to Hell. I'll go there in a later part which is here. You get a lot of rare magic here, and these draw points will refill, so you can get a lot of rare magic here. And you can go on Google and figure out exactly where these draw points are, but a lot of them are on the edge of the island, and there's some in the middle. This is a good area to get some aura spells on the cheap. There is one boss that will have aura in his draw pool, but it's a time battle, so to speak, because you only get 10 turns for that boss if you have Odin. Now, going back to the Angelo Search. In the remaster, those items are added to Angelo Search's pool. They did not exist in the original version. To get those items, you had to use the Chocobo World game that was in the original Final Fantasy, but we didn't have that in the US, not normally. So only the international players got that. We got shortchanged on that, actually. But luckily that was remedied in the remaster, so there's a chance for you to get those items. Very small chance, but it's a chance that you can get them anyway. So I'm grateful for that. Now, in the case of Angelo Search, once you find those 4 UFOs, you can go here to where that Chocobo Forest was that you can only access with a Chocobo. On the cliffside, there is a UFO sighting, but it's a battle. Now, that battle, the UFO won't attack, which means you can just sit there and stare at the UFO and it won't do anything. Now, in the background of the game, there is a time counter. And for every few seconds in Final Fantasy VIII, it will do a check in the background. And after about I'm looking at the Final Fantasy wiki here just to get the mechanics down, but there is an invisible dead timer that will count from 200 when no one acts, just like the ATB bar. After the timer reaches 0, which is about 13.3 seconds, the following things will be checked in this order. Gilgamesh has a chance to be summoned, and yes, Gilgamesh is in this game. Angelo Recover is used. Angelo Reverse is used, which Angelo Reverse is when a person's dead, it will revive. Angelo will revive a character. Angelo Recover will heal, so make sure your characters are fully healed. And then everything else, if everything else doesn't work, Angelo Search will activate. Now, Gilgamesh will not be summoned if you don't have Gilgamesh, and you'll get Gilgamesh with the start of Disc 4. But here, if you just hit ×3, you can speed up that timer in the background by 3 speed, and it's very useful to do that. Now, after, like I said, about 13.3 seconds, it'll do a check. It's not guaranteed, but it can happen. So I'm going to go ahead and jump cut here to when it happens. And so everyone's healed, so I don't have to worry about it. There's my Angelo Search. And so I got a High Potion Plus. Like I said, these are very, very common searches, but you have a rare chance of getting a friendship item or a Moogle amulet. So you can do this for as long as you want. You can escape and come back and do that. So what I did, and then which was a dumb mistake on my part, is well, you can do this. Is not a dumb mistake on your part unless you just don't care about your computer or PS4 or 5 running. But you can leave the game running while you go out and do errands or whatever, and then when you come back, you might have a lot of rare items. So some of the items include, good items include a Hungry Cookpot, a Healing Ring, some scrolls, like the Magic Scroll Status Guard, an Aegis Amulet, a Force Amulet, a Hero Trial, Elixir. I want to say Mega Elixirs are part of it too. No Mega Elixirs. Mega Phoenixes. So there's a lot of good stuff here. Now, we're going to go ahead and proceed with plot, and we're going to go back to Esthar, which we already are. I'm going to go ahead and show you the what's the word I want to say? The encounter you can have to summon some Elenals. Now these are Terapods, I believe. They're not super hard enemies, but they are kind of annoying because they are the common enemy in Esthar. Once the Lunar Cry happens, super weak enemies as far as, you know, doing damage. About 2,300 did the damage. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and take out these Terapods Now, it looks to me that Irving already has his ultimate weapon, the Extar, whatever. The Extar, actually, I already had it because that Eleanor that we encountered at the bottom of the Deep Sea Research Center, I think I stole moonstones from it. And moonstones are needed to make the Extar, which is Irving's ultimate weapon. Now, as far as the Eleanors, oh, that's not good. But thank God Odin's going to come back and fix that for me. Yes, behemoths are here as well. So, just be wary about that. Don't go wander around Esthar without having your party members in good condition, except for Queesis in my part. The reason I have Queesis at low HP is I want to be able to use Degenerator to take out these enemies really quickly. Or, luckily, Odin might come in and swoop and save me. But we get a lot of experience for that behemoth. And it looks like we get a barrier, but we already have Mighty Guard. And also in this part, I'll also show off some of the Guardian Forces that I haven't shown off, right? Namely Cerberus, Bahamut, Pandemona, and Eden. Off screen, as you saw, I did switch out my party members to Irving and Queestus. So we're going to go this way. This will put us on the lower path. There's this guy that's this dark olive green person that's here that's crazy, that if you talk to him, he will summon an Eleanor. I don't know why I was going to say Elverit. Now, Eleanors are very useful because you can steal moonstones from them, you can draw holy from them, you can draw pain from them, and they drop energy crystals provided you don't steal their moonstones from them. Now, moonstones are very useful because they will refine into holies. I forget how many, I think it's like 10 per holy stone. They are weak to darkness or blind, so if you cast pain on them, they can get blinded, which means that when they counterattack with their physical attacks or their tail spike ability, they're not going to do very much damage at all. They're also susceptible to poison as well, so they can get some damage done to them whenever they take their turn. They do give out a lot of experience, so just be wary about that if you care about min-maxing your stats. Also, I think I haven't shown Leviathan, so I'm going to show Leviathan here. Leviathan is probably one of my more favorite summons animations here, so we're going to see that happen here a little bit. But Eleanors are very tough, hardy creatures. They take a lot of damage, and really it would behoove you to blind them, put them to sleep, or summon Doom Train, that way they could get hit with the works. Leviathan, this is probably my favorite Leviathan summon because it summons a mountain face and it turns itself into the water that will basically hit the enemy. And this is also I want to say this is probably my second favorite version of Leviathan. I think my next favorite, I didn't like Final Fantasy 15 very much, but I did like the summons, the way they looked in Final Fantasy 15. But that's probably my favorite version of Leviathan. And this is probably, no, this is still my favorite. That Leviathan is probably my second favorite. But that's Tsunami, that is Leviathan's attack. And then let's just go ahead and summon Doom Train, because why not? We're going to go ahead and hit it. Because Doom Train didn't get very much use in the Deep Sea Research Center because it kept getting knocked the hell out. And this, of course, you summon Doom Train against an enemy, whatever stats elements it's weak against, Doom Train will inflict. I almost want to say like without fail. So he got hit with Doom, which is kind of funny because he can cast Death. But what I like to do to kill these Eleanors really quickly is to have Queestus and low HP, and then just use Degenerator and just eject them out of the battle. That way I don't have to worry about it. We'll also see Pandemona and Bahamut be summoned. This is also my favorite version of Bahamut, behind Final Fantasy X and behind Final Fantasy IX after that. I don't know why. It's just this version of Bahamut I like because the outside looks like it's just metal. But it might be just very dark obsidian scale or something like that. But to me, it looks like he has iron all over his body. It's almost like Bahamut Zero from Final Fantasy VII. But Mega Flare in this game, superb. I love it to death. Bahamut is the most amazing summon in Final Fantasy as far as I'm concerned. Pandemona, very weird summon, but very, very interesting nonetheless. Basically, this giant bipedal summon comes up and will suck the enemy into its body and then spit it out into a tornado. That's really all I can really describe this thing as. but this is definitely one of the more interesting summons in Final Fantasy VIII. It's almost like an alien of sorts. I feel like they got really what's the word I want to say? They experimented with the summons in Final Fantasy to get some unique summons like Quasicult, Pandemona. Cerberus was an enemy, but it's a summon in this game. And oh yeah, we will summon Cerberus in this. Eden, Doom Train. I want to say there's like maybe a few more summons I'm forgetting off the top of my head. But a lot of the newer summons are very unique. Too bad they don't show up in other Final Fantasies, but I'm glad they decided to take a chance and experiment with some of the summons in Final Fantasy VIII. So I'm going to do one more, I think a couple more battles with the Elverets just to get some items, but I'm just going to show off some key moments in the battle. So right here, fortunately I need Marlboro tentacles to get Quis's ultimate weapon. So if you go back, you can talk to the guy again, and then summon another Eleanor, and then just rinse and repeat as many times as you need. Now, Cerberus doesn't attack the enemy. It's the first Guardian Force that doesn't really attack the enemy at all. It will support the characters, our party members, by casting double and triple on the characters, which is very nice. You get double and triple on all your characters. This is the Cactar summon. That's going to be my thumbnail for this part. For every 10 levels, the Cactar will do an extra 1,000 points of damage. So it's around level 30, that's why it's doing 3,000. When you get to level 100, it will do 10,000 points of damage, so 10,000 needles. The second most powerful summon in the game, potentially. Alexander is a holy summon, holy judgment. Probably one of the more iconic old school summons. Started out in Final Fantasy VI. We get it again 7, 8, and 9 as a story summon. And I don't think it plays like another, like you can't really summon Alexander in anything after 8, I don't think. I could be wrong. This is Eden. Eden is the most powerful Guardian Force in the game. I don't know what the hell this thing is supposed to look like. I've seen some people talk about this as probably like the Guardian Force version of a garden, which kind of looks like it. But it is by far the longest attack animation in the game. I want to say it's like over a minute, almost 2 minutes. And because it's so long, it will give you a chance to boost it to 250. I want to say is the highest boost in the game. I want to say that's what it is. But anyways, it is an interesting summon because I don't know why it turns the earth into this glyph-like thing. It will shoot the enemy into a black hole, and then it will do potentially over 10,000 points of damage. But my Eden is very low on level, and I don't have all its summon magic plus abilities learned, because it learns 10, 20, 30, and even 40%. But yeah, it has innately the ability to break the damage limit. So very, very, very interesting summon. Oh, it has the longest summon animation of 72 seconds and 72.6 seconds. So with that, I'll go ahead and end the little summon battles with the Elveret. But we'll go ahead and just continue on. We're going to continue on to the Presidential Palace. And then along the way, we're going to encounter a few more enemy types. Or one more enemy type, I think. We're going to encounter a Turopod and a Torama, which in later Final Fantasies, I think they're a coral. I cannot pronounce that name to save my life, even after hearing it in Final Fantasy 16. But these cats are very dangerous at high levels because they can cast level 5 death, which if you're all at level 5 and you have no death resistance, it's gonna game over you if all your party members are levels that are divisible by 5. But they are susceptible to sleep. They they can use an attack called Blaster, which Blaster can inflict non-elemental physical or magical damage, and it can petrify as well. So be very careful. So take them out as soon as you can, and then just leave. They can give you regen rings if you steal from them, I believe. And then Turopods will drop life rings. So very useful for refining magic. And then also, I think I've shown a double. Oh no, I just want to show Odin for whatever reason. Because we're not going to see very much of Odin after we go to Lunatic Pandora, believe it or not. For those who know, you know. For those who don't know, it'll be a sad moment. But speaking of Odin, in Final Fantasy 16, as of this part, I've already had the Odin fight going, and I've enjoyed beating Odin in that part. One of the best fights in that game, honestly. I was very impressed with the cinematics, and seeing Ifrit use Xantan, I can never pronounce that attack, Xantuscan, Xantatuscan, whatever, was very, very, very enjoyable. But with that, we will go into the presidential palace and meet with Kyros and see what is up, and then we will catch you on the next part, folks. But we're a few more seconds away from it. I still got almost 50 seconds left, but yeah, I'm curious who's there. I mean, did Kyros just become the president of Esthar? I mean, what happened to Ward? What happened to Laguna? Well, we'll see that here in a little bit, so don't you worry. Here, let's go see. You have permission this way, please. Okay, let's go in here. What the heck? They're not here. The president's waiting. Well, the president's not here, dude. Where we gotta go? Interesting enough, again, look up to the top. That is the village of Windhill. So why would the president of Esthar be so enthralled with Windhill? But anyways, that's the end of this part, folks. If you like it, please like and subscribe it. Leave a comment, and thank you for staying with me this long. Later and bye.